You know that feeling, right? That constant hum in the background of your mind, the pull of wanting something, the endless cycle of craving and never quite being satisfied. But what if you could just switch it off? Not through sheer willpower, but with a single, profound moment of insight that actually rewires your brain. Well, that's exactly what we're diving in today. And to get our heads around this, we're going to start with a question that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. It's a mystery that really pushes the limits of what we think the human mind is capable of. Get this is not a movie plot. It's a real, documented state that scientists are studying in very advanced meditators. It's called cessation attainment, the ability to just voluntarily pause your entire conscious experience. It sounds wild, but this extreme example is actually our entry point for understanding how the mind works and, believe it or not, how it can be set free from that constant cycle of grasping. So, what is this state really? Well, the researchers who've looked into it say it's not like sleep. It's much more like being under general anesthesia, a total pause in the stream of experience where you have absolutely zero perception of time passing. Okay, so this off switch is a massive clue for us. Because think about it, to understand how a mind can come to a complete stop, we've got to first understand what keeps it running nonstop all the time. We have to look at the engine that drives all our grasping and craving in the first place. And that engine is something neuroscientists are getting really excited about. They call it the brain's reality model. And honestly, understanding this is the key to this whole story. Okay, so here's the big idea. Your brain isn't like a camera, just passively taking in the world. No, it's an active prediction machine. It is constantly, and I mean constantly, guessing what's out there. So what you experience as reality right now, it's really just your brain's best guess. And it turns out there's a specific part of the brain that's like the director of this whole internal movie, the engine that generates the nonstop story of me, me, me. It's called the default mode network, or the DMN. You can just think of it as the me network. This is the part of your brain that's busy remembering your past, worrying about your future, and basically piecing together your life story. It is the source of that inner chatter, and it's the very foundation of all our grasping and craving. Right. So if the self is basically just a story the brain is telling itself, constantly fueled by this network, what happens when you start to really investigate that story, through practices like deep meditation? Well, what researchers describe is a process of deconstruction. It's like you realize the self isn't one solid thing. It's more like layers of an onion that you can peel back. You go from the story of your life down to just your physical feelings right now, all the way down to the pure, simple background of awareness itself. And seeing through these layers, this isn't just some neat intellectual exercise. It can trigger a fundamental, world-altering shift in how you see everything. It's a moment of insight so profound, it just shatters the old way of operating. And this brings us right to the heart of it all. We're talking about a concept from Buddhist philosophy called emptiness, or shunyata. And this is the real key to breaking that cycle of craving we started with. Now, this is a super important distinction. Emptiness does not mean nothingness. It's not a black void. It's the powerful realization that everything, your thoughts, your feelings, even your sense of who you are, is just a dynamic, interconnected process. It's not a collection of solid, separate things. In other words, this insight reveals that the stuff of reality, what the sutra calls form, and the space in which all that stuff appears, the emptiness, they aren't two separate things. They're actually two sides of the very same coin. So how in the world does a philosophical insight like this actually stop your brain's deep-seated habit of craving? Well, this is where it all comes full circle, right back to that prediction machine we were talking about. See, from this neuroscience perspective, suffering is basically the friction you feel when your brain's predictions about the world don't match up with reality. It's that exhausting, grinding effort of trying to force the world to fit your model, that constant craving for certainty when the world is, well, uncertain. The insight into emptiness triggers what scientists call de-rearification. It's that aha moment, the instant the brain finally realizes that its own model, the story, the fears, the desires, is just a fabrication. It stops treating its own thoughts as if they're solid, concrete reality. And when the system finally stops compulsively defending its own predictions as real, the whole mechanism of grasping is disarmed, right at its very root. And like Dr. Lakanen says, what follows is a big, big sense of freedom. Okay, and this is where the story takes a really fascinating modern turn.
It turns out this ancient wisdom isn't just for us humans anymore. It's now being applied at the absolute cutting edge of technology to build wiser minds of a different kind.
You heard that right. Scientists are actually exploring whether these exact same principles that free the human mind from its harmful patterns, principles like mindfulness and emptiness, can be used to build safer, more cooperative, and, well, more aligned artificial intelligence.
And the early results are pretty stunning. Just look at these graphs. On the left, you can see that the AIs that were prompted with concepts like emptiness or boundless care, that's the purple and pink lines, they are way more likely to cooperate than the regular AI in blue. And on the right, you see how that plays out, a higher score for everyone. Basically, when you teach an AI wisdom, it stops playing a selfish game and starts working for the greater good.
And this leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought. If we can build wisdom into AI using these ancient insights about the nature of mind, what does that teach us about our own potential? It kind of suggests that the key to a wiser future isn't just about building smarter machines, but about understanding the timeless, powerful technology of our own minds.